Has Brad Treliving finally accepted reality and begun the painful process of selling off assets to salvage the future? Or is this soft sell approach just another half measure that will leave the Leafs stuck in mediocrity while potentially losing their top 5 protected pick to Boston? Let me set the stage for what's become a moment of brutal clarity for the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. It's Monday, February 2nd, 2026, and it seems the reality has finally hit Brad Treliving's office. After an absolutely insane week where we went from buy Panarin to sell McMahon, Monday has brought the clarity we desperately needed. And that clarity is painful, but necessary. Insider Elliotte Friedman confirmed today the Toronto Maple Leafs have officially begun calling other teams to sell players. The season hasn't gone as expected, which is a euphemism for disaster, and the front office is exploring the market. But before you go into complete panic mode, Friedman brought vital news. Auston Matthews is not going anywhere. There was an emergency meeting, and the commitment was reaffirmed. Let's start with the foundation. If you're going to demolish the house, you need to make sure the foundation can handle it. Friedman reported that this week there was a direct conversation between the Leafs and Auston Matthews' staff. The question was simple. With this horrible season, does anything change? Do you want out? Do we want to trade you? The answer was a resounding no. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to each other for 2026 to 27. This is absolutely crucial. It means that any move Treliving makes now, selling McMahon, selling veterans, has the approval or at least the understanding of the captain. The plan isn't to blow everything up. It's to clean up the garbage around Matthews and try again next year. Now, the market part. Friedman said, one thing they did this week was start the process of calling around the league. They're no longer waiting for the phone to ring. They're making the calls. What do you think of our roster? What would you pay for this player? This confirms Friday's rumor about Bobby McMahon going to Edmonton. But Friedman made an important caveat. I haven't heard anything that anyone would call extraordinary or stunning. Does this kill the Panarin rumor? Probably. Bringing in Panarin would be stunning. What Treliving is doing is basic. Trying to transform complementary players into draft picks and prospects. He's admitting that this current group doesn't work. Here comes the cherry on top of today's analysis. The detail that changes everything. Ron McLean mentioned the Brandon Carlo trade. The defenseman the Leafs brought in from Boston at some point in this timeline. In that trade, we gave up our 2026 first-round pick. But it's top 5 protected. What does this mean? It means that if we finish the season as the 6th worst, 7th worst, or 10th worst team, the pick goes to the Boston Bruins. We lose the player and the pick. Disaster. But if the team completely collapses and we finish among the 5 worst teams in the league, we keep the pick. And this year's draft has top 6 guys who can change a franchise. This creates a perverse incentive for Brad Treliving. Sell McMahon, sell Jarnkrok, maybe even rest Marner or Nylander with minor injuries to ensure the team sinks enough to save the pick. It's called strategic tanking. Think about what this actually means from an organizational perspective. The Leafs are now in a position where losing games is actually beneficial. Every loss brings them closer to securing that top 5 pick and preventing it from going to Boston. Every win potentially pushes them out of that protected range and costs them a valuable asset. This is the nightmare scenario that every fan base fears. A team that's too good to get a high draft pick, but too bad to make the playoffs. The dreaded middle ground where you're stuck in organizational purgatory, but with the top 5 protection on the Carlo pick. The Leafs actually have a reason to embrace the tank. The comparison to other rebuilding teams is also instructive. We've seen organizations like Buffalo and Ottawa go through painful rebuilds. We've seen teams embrace the tank to secure franchise-altering prospects. The Leafs are now facing that same decision. Do they try to salvage something from this season, or do they accept reality and position themselves for the future? Here's what I think is actually going to happen. Trail Living is going to continue selling off complementary pieces like Bobby McMahon. He's going to explore moving veterans who don't fit the long-term timeline. And he's going to quietly manage the roster in a way that ensures the team finishes in the bottom 5, protecting that pick from going to Boston. It's not glamorous. It's not what fans want to hear. But it's a pragmatic approach that prevents the organization from being stuck in mediocrity while also losing valuable assets. So here's the question for Leafs Nation. Should Brad Trail Living embrace the tank and actively manage the roster to finish in the bottom 5? Or should the organization continue trying to compete and risk losing the top 5 protected pick to Boston? Is strategic tanking the right approach? Or does it send the wrong message to the fan base and the players? Would you support a full sell-off if it meant securing a high draft pick and building for the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that like button if you want more coverage of this organizational pivot. Because right now, the Maple Leafs are facing a fundamental choice. Embrace the pain of a lost season to secure the future, or continue fighting for mediocrity and risk losing valuable assets. The season is over in terms of playoff hopes. Now the game is different. The game is keeping Matthews happy, selling the supporting cast, and losing enough games to stay in the top 5 and not give the pick to Boston. It's sad, but it's better than desperately trying to buy Panarin and finishing 9th, missing the playoffs and losing the draft pick. Trail Living has chosen the red pill. The rebuild, or quick retool, has begun. Stay tuned, because every loss now will be celebrated as a victory for the future.